That's for me. Big.
Good afternoon. Raise your hand if you knew that the Humane Society of the United States is not affiliated with your local Humane Society. Nobody knew that, so it's surprising, I know. The Humane Society of the United States is an animal rights group that is against animal agriculture and is no way affiliated with local humane societies and therefore should not be supported as if they were. Today I will be discussing the budget of HSUS and the puppy mill, ballot initiative, animal rights versus animal welfare, and how this will affect Missourians, and finally, what you can do to help animals. I myself grew up on a cattle farm. I'm also an animal science major, and it's just scaring me that people are supporting an organization that they know very little about. So first, let's look at some facts about HSUS. HSUS is not just focused on cats and dogs. Missouri Cattlemen's Association Vice President Jeff Windett is worried about HSUS pushing farther than just pets. Windett states that HSUS's goal is to eliminate animal agriculture. And here is the current budget of HSUS. They operate on $130 million, when only 0.5% goes to hands-on care of animals. And according to the Center for Consumer Freedom, HSUS raised $34 million in wake of Hurricane Katrina to support lost pets, and how much of that actually went to helping lost pets? $7 million. 7 out of 34 million actually went to helping lost pets. So what do they do with all their other money? Well, Wayne Baselli, their CEO, he makes $25,000 a year, and they also employ 60 full-time attorneys. 28% is used to solicit more funding, and finally $20 million for campaigns and legislation. And speaking of legislation, HSUS has been organizing legislation right here in Missouri. The Puppy Mill Cruelty Prevention Act is a current ballot initiative in Missouri that is supported by HSUS. You may have signed it because HSUS hired workers to solicit signatures here on campus earlier this semester. And here are just the main points. According to Marcia Gorel, a reporter for the Marshall Democrat News, it will not change anything. There are already not enough funds for current animal protection laws. The Missouri Veterinary Medical Association also opposes the initiative because it will shut down properly functioning licensed breeders. The thing is, we already have a law to protect animals. It's the funding that's the problem, not the law itself. And what this law will do is put the properly functioning licensed breeders out of business because they will have to provide air conditioning for dogs. And there are some people in Missouri who do not even have air conditioning. You're putting animals in front of people here. And it would be very costly to do this, putting them out of business. But the ones who make the licensed breeders look bad is the unlicensed ones. They're the ones who aren't regulated, and which gives the licensed ones a bad name, when usually the licensed ones are doing everything right. And like I said, HSUS workers were here on campus, and in an article in the Columbian Missourian by Samantha Freeman, HSUS workers were paid 75 cents per signature they collected. And that makes me think that they're just trying to get you to sign it just for the money so they get paid. They would probably care less about whether it was for or against animals. But this in HSUS is not just affecting dogs. HSUS's goals affect all animals. And according to activistcash.com, HSUS was originally for animal welfare when they first founded, but they later switched to animal rights. So what's the difference? Animal rights is where you won't use animals for research, they won't be used as food, and they won't be raised in cages. On the other hand, you have animal welfare, where you can use regulated animal research to find cures for diseases, and you can humanely slaughter animals for food, and they are properly raised in a managed environment. And now that I've just explained the difference between animal rights and animal welfare, animal rights groups are trying to change animal agriculture as we know it. And Jeff Windett, the Cattlemen's Association Vice President, is afraid that this Puppy Mill Act will be HSUS's first foot in the door of Missouri. And the wording in the Puppy Mill Act, it can be easily changed to pertain to livestock. And this is something that's similar happened in California. In California passed Proposition 2 that effectively banned all caged livestock, and they're phasing it out currently. So what's that mean? If that would happen in Missouri, current farms would have to convert their facilities to allow more space per animal and possibly even air conditioning, which would be very costly. And with more space means you can raise less animals in a certain given area, and therefore you would have less products produced, animal products produced, leading to higher meat, egg, and dairy product prices. So what's going to happen when it's not economically profitable for farmers to make money from raising animals anymore? What's going to happen? Where are you going to get your food if they shut down? Well, it's possible that you can start importing your food from Mexico. And do you think there's better regulations and better animal welfare in Mexico or the United States? And also the funding that comes along with the puppy bill initiative. If we don't have the funds for our current laws that we already have to enforce them, how are we going to fund laws that are more extensive, requiring more regulation? We're probably going to have to have higher taxes, and I don't want higher taxes. And now that you know the truth behind HSUS and its effects, what can you do? First, I propose that you spread the word. Tell family, friends, whoever, that HSUS, what HSUS is really about. And tell them that the Humane Society of the United States is an animal rights group that is against animal agriculture and is no way affiliated with local humane societies, and they should not be supported as if they were. Secondly, if you really want to help animals, you can always volunteer at your local humane society or donate money or food, pet food. And finally, join me in the fight against HSUS and vote no on the Puppy Mill Cruelty Prevention Act in order to ensure Missouri's future in agriculture. Thank you.
Justice.